Hey there, I'm Caitlin, 42, living the suburban dream in Minneapolis with my husband, Brandon. On the surface, I'm just a full-time housewife. But here's the twist. I'm actually the CEO of a medical equipment distribution company raking in millions each year. My salary? A cool $145,000. But Brandon, he's blissfully unaware. We met at a friend's gathering when I was 30. Back then, he was the charming guy who noticed the little things, like how I held my coffee cup with my left hand. I thought I'd hit the jackpot. We tied the knot after a year of dating, and I was convinced I'd found my soulmate. But then, the fairy tale took a nosedive. Brandon started showing his true colors. He made excuses to avoid changing jobs, even though his salary barely covered our bills. When I suggested he apply for a position at my company, one that paid more than double what he was making, he shot me down, saying, "Don't try to make me live by your standards." I was stunned. How could the man who once professed his love now take my advice as an insult? Despite the growing tension, I kept trying to make things work. I deposited $1,400 into his account each month, only to watch him blow it on sneakers and online games. He never asked if I was tired after long days or noticed when I was burning the midnight oil. To him, I was just a woman living off his hard work. Things escalated. One day, my mom came over to help while I was in meetings. When Brandon got home, he tossed his keys and said, "Another stranger in the house. I need my peace and quiet." I snapped. "She's not a stranger. She's here to help." But he shrugged it off, and that was the moment I felt a crack in our marriage that couldn't be repaired. The silence between us grew. We shared meals and watched TV, but it felt cold and forced. Brandon became irritable, blaming me for everything, from a towel not folded right to a broken coffee machine. I felt like a maid in my own home. Then came the day I collapsed at work. I woke up in a hospital bed, diagnosed with a tumor in my pancreas. I was terrified, not of the illness, but of facing it alone. I texted Brandon, but he didn't reply. I started treatment without him by my side, feeling more alone than ever. 2 weeks later, he finally showed up, but not to check on me. He handed me divorce papers, coldly stating, "I've filed for divorce. The house and car will be in my name." I was shattered, not because I didn't expect it, but because of how heartless he was. But that's when something inside me shifted. I realized I wasn't the one who needed to be set free. It was him. I called Eric, my trusted CFO, and told him I needed help. I was ready to take back my life. 3 days later, I terminated the contract between my company and Brandon's employer, which accounted for over 60% of their revenue. When he came home that night, he looked pale and defeated. "I got laid off," he said softly. I wasn't surprised. I revealed my true identity as the CEO of SilverMed, the company he thought he had won over. The look on his face was priceless. I had been the one holding everything together, and now it was time for him to face the consequences of his actions. As the divorce proceedings unfolded, I found strength I never knew I had. I filed for emotional damages due to his infidelity, and with solid evidence, I was ready to reclaim my dignity. Months later, I stood on my own balcony, breathing in the fresh air, feeling reborn. I had overcome not just Brandon, but the illness that had tried to take me down. I bought a small lakeside house, a peaceful sanctuary where I could finally be myself. And as I sipped my tea one afternoon, Eric asked if I'd ever consider marrying again. I smiled softly and said, "Not right now, maybe someday. But for now, I'm happy like this."